The move to Los Angeles allowed me to do Conan, which was a very important milestone in my career trajectory.
When I was out in California on other business, I went to the Comedy Store to do what I did at Yuck Yucks, and I got seen and got offered a TV show.
I moved to LA 5 years ago, and everything crashed at the beginning. My name's Nikki Bon. I'm a comedian from Toronto. I was acting in Toronto and I got into Atlantic, which is an acting school with William H. Macy, David Mamet. So I moved to New York. The school said, hey, we'll transfer you to LA to do the master program there. And then I moved and the school was like, hey, guess what? I know you're supposed to start in 3 weeks, but we're canceling it. Everything got taken away. I have never been that heartbroken. I was like, what am I doing here? This wasn't the plan. At my waitressing job here, 3 different tables, different nights asked me if I was a stand-up comedian. Finally, the 3rd time someone was like, you should be. It gave me the balls to do it. I never, ever, ever, ever thought I'd be doing stand-up, ever. There's so much out here. You're in it. Like, I'm hanging out with famous comedians. It's like amazing to feel like you're on the same level and they have advice to give, or they don't. And you just watch their process. The grind out here is so tough, it pushes you. There's a lot of drive out here and opportunity.
I've had this question before, do you need to come to the US to make it? But my question is always, what is make it? As a performer, you'll try something, it'll work out really well, you'll love it, and then you'll say, what's next? When I look back 20 years ago, making it to me was getting on stage at the Rivoli, and there were people there that were laughing. I was so excited that I had made that leap. So I think in Canada, you need to diversify, you need to do multiple things. And that really worked out well for me, because now I had to do multiple things to make a living, but now I can use all of those things in my job now.
Just from my experience, obviously like LA and New York, it's just bigger scene, man. More people, more clubs, more opportunity. So when you're climbing up or when you're trying to get up there, there's more competition. And then when you're in Canada, not to its fault, it's just a smaller community, smaller, I feel, industry. So there's that kind of difference there. But I think Canada helped me find my voice, because like I was able to get on stage so much.
In Canada, you get to do a lot more headlining as a stand-up comic than you would in a city like LA or New York, where it's just like showcase, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. So it's definitely a good place to start and to grow. I waited until I felt secure, like other people wait to have children. I waited to move to LA. I wish it was easier for Canadians to seed our pots, grow a bud, and then move here without needing $10,000 and a lawyer and a lot of paperwork. I feel like it's a shame, because as much as I love Canada, and I love Canada, the opportunities are fewer, and it can be very frustrating.
I had a great life in Canada. I was a working actor, I made a great living, but there's kind of a ceiling. This is what we all know. You can have an amazing career. I mean, I was on 4 television shows. I remember in the same night one night, I was like flipping through and I was like, my voice is on this cartoon show, I'm a guest star on this other one, I'm a lead on this other one, and I'm on this game show. It was like, if I was in America, maybe I should see how that would go. Because if I've got 4 at once here, I could probably roll the dice about getting 1 down there. So yeah, I mean, there's always that siren song call from America, you know, for actors, I think, in Canada. You always want to know. You never want to, you know, not go and not try and then spend the rest of your life going, man, maybe I should have tried pilot season in 1 more year.
I definitely think that moving down here is not absolutely necessary for a comedian in Canada to make it. There's lots of comedians in that country who are very funny, some of the funniest people I've ever seen, and they don't live down here. The best thing you can do for yourself as a comic is to be around people who are extremely funny, funnier than you. If you're the funniest comic on the show, you're not working hard enough. In a scene like this, the best comedians in the world are here in New York. To go on a show and then see Jay Leno go out for the same audience and watch the difference in how they react. It's very eye-opening and inspiring, and that's why festivals are so good. You get to perform on the same shows as these comics you wouldn't normally get to perform with, and if you don't come home from there with a sense of inspiration, you're doing it wrong. Keep working. All they did is not quit. That's the key to comedy.
Man, I'm in my 30s, and the worst part is when people say, how old are you? And then I say my age, and they're like, oh, me too. And all I can think of is, God, do I look like that? Do I look that old?
I try and get on stage at least 8 to 10 times a week. It's not just wanting to be good, I just want to be myself on stage. And that was the biggest thing for me with stand-up comedy, was I realized who I am, and I am most comfortable the more I get up. For me, all that matters is that I'm myself. If I don't get up, then what am I doing? It's a waste of my time.
When I started out, things were different. I started at Yuck Yucks, and I wouldn't be here today if I didn't get that start at Yuck Yucks. At the time, you had to come to New York and LA if you wanted to have any international success. I think now you don't have to. It's a very different world today, so you can stay in Canada, you could stay in your house, you could stay in your room, you could stay in your underpants. And if you do something brilliant, the world is going to know and give you a brand deal and make you a star. If I was starting out today, I probably would still be talking to you from Toronto.
I can only speak to Toronto because that's kind of where I cut my teeth as a stand-up to begin. You can do whatever you want and work your stuff out, and then you come here to LA, you might be doing stand-up in a little back room, and there may be somebody in the audience. There may be a great opportunity here. That is always a potential here, but also you don't want to let that be the reason why you write your material with the hopes of someone seeing it versus a pure stand-up who wants to just do the things that they feel is really funny.
I think for the longest time I didn't want to move to LA, and I was kind of just writing by myself, and I had been writing books and kind of doing my work on Twitter. And the thing that made me move was actually a job offer. I got an offer to write for BoJack Horseman, and you can't say no to that. Writing for a TV show is the first time where I have to physically be in the city. I think like social media has sort of created two different paths now. There are sort of like the film and TV and the entertainment world traditionally, but I think if you're just making stuff independently and if you're making stuff that you want to make online, I think you can do that from anywhere, and I think that's the great joy of it.
I don't think you need to leave Canada. I'm always finding ways to go back to Canada. Like, you can hire me, Canada. I'm here, I'll come back. I don't think you need to move to the States, but the difference between Canada and the US is that in Canada, when you go to pitch, you get the impression that there's only so many slots. I found in Canada I got more no's from people because they were being realistic with me, you know? We're like, we wish we could produce that show, we can't. They were wrong. It depends on what you want to do and what you want to create. And I think it's really important as a performer and as a writer that you're just making stuff all the time.
I have never set a goal for myself. As luck would have it, when I was out in California on other business, I went to the Comedy Store to do what I did at Yuck Yucks. And I got seen and got offered a TV show. And when that TV show aired, it was Make Me Laugh. I was back in Toronto still doing retail. I got called back out to do some talk shows, and I got offered to be Diana Ross's opening act. And I have just fallen into everything. If I was talking to a young comic today, I would tell him, don't put much thought into it, just do it. Because thought is gonna hold you back, and thought is gonna give you fear, and thought is every reason not to try something, every reason why not to do something, anything that could possibly happen. If you're a blank slate, and you just live it and do it and own it, you'll sell it.
You have to get up. You just have to. And if you don't get up, you're not going to get better. You want to be the best that you are, not like the best compared to everybody else. You want to be the best of what you are yourself. And the only way that you discover it is to keep getting up and practicing and becoming comfortable on stage. There was a couple jokes I wanted to try out that I had forgotten, well, add-ons to a joke, but on to the next one, and I'm gonna keep fulfilling my dreams.
On tour, headlining, that'd be awesome. That's where I see myself. That's where I'm gonna be. I hope.
Holding for murder, Siren. You're gonna hear a lot of that today. You're gonna hear a lot of that, maybe some shotguns, maybe some AKs. I kinda like it. This is all a part of the atmos. There's a gunshot.